If I'm at the bottom, come down to me before you speak with anyone. What about Lieutenant Billets? She will be informed about what is happening. We're wasting time. This is not a request. It is a command. Get your people together and get down here. Am I making myself clear to you? You're clear. Then I will be expecting you. Irving hung up without waiting for a reply. Bosch stood with the phone still at his ear for a few moments, wondering what was going on. Angel's Flight was the short inclined railroad that carried people up Bunker Hill in downtown, far outside the boundaries of the Hollywood Division homicide table. If Irving had a body down there at Angel's Flight, the investigation would fall under the jurisdiction of Central Division. If Central detectives couldn't handle it because of the caseload or personnel problems, or if the case was deemed too important or media sensitive for them, then it would be bumped to the Bulls, the Robbery Homicide Division. The fact that a deputy chief of police was involved in the case before dawn on a Saturday suggested the latter possibility. The fact that he was calling Bosch and his team instead of the RHD Bulls was the puzzle. Whatever it was that Irving had working at Angel's Flight didn't make sense. Bosch glanced once more down into the dark canyon, pulled the phone away from his ear, and clicked it off. He wished he had a cigarette, but he had made it this far through the night without one. He wouldn't break now. He turned his back and leaned on the counter. He looked down at the phone in his hand, turned it back on, and hit the speed dial button that would connect him with Kisman Ryder's apartment. He would call Jerry Edgar after he talked to her. Bosch felt a sense of relief come over him that he was reluctant to acknowledge. He might not yet know what awaited him at Angel's Flight, but it would certainly take his thoughts away from Eleanor Wish. Ryder's alert voice answered after 2 rings. "Kiz, it's Harry," he said. "We've got work." Chapter 2. Bosch agreed to meet his 2 partners at the Hollywood Division station to pick up cars before they headed downtown to Angel's Flight. On the way down the hill to the station, he had punched in KFWB on his Jeep's radio and picked up a breaking news report on a homicide investigation underway at the site of the historic inclined railroad. The newsman on the scene reported that 2 bodies had been found inside one of the train cars and that several members of the robbery homicide squad were on the scene. But that was the extent of the reporter's information, as he also noted that the police had placed an unusually wide cordon of yellow tape around the crime scene, prohibiting him from getting a closer look. At the station, Bosch communicated this thin bit of information to Edgar and Ryder while they signed 3 slickbacks out of the motor pool. "So it looks like we're going to be playing sloppy seconds to RHD," Edgar concluded, showing his annoyance at being rousted from sleep to spend probably the whole weekend doing gopher work for the RHD Bulls. "Our guts, their glory, and we aren't even on call this weekend. Why didn't Irving call out Rice's goddamn team if he needed a Hollywood team?" Edgar had a point. Team 1, Bosch, Edgar, and Ryder, wasn't even up on call rotation this weekend. If Irving had followed proper call-out procedure, he would have called Terry Rice, who headed up Team 3, which was currently on top of the rotation. But Bosch had already figured that Irving wasn't following any procedures, not if the deputy chief had called him directly before checking with his supervisor, Lieutenant Grace Billets. "Well, Jerry," Bosch said, more than used to his partner's whining, "you'll get the chance to ask the deputy chief personally in a little while." "Yeah, right. I do that, and I'll find my ass down in Harbor the next 10 years. Fuck that." "Hey, Harbor Division's an easy gig," Ryder said, just to rag Edgar a bit. She knew Edgar lived in the valley, and that a transfer to Harbor Division would mean a miserable 90-minute commute each way. The pure definition of freeway therapy, the brass's method of unofficially punishing malcontents and problem cops. "They only pull 6-7 homicides a year down there." "That's nice, but count me the fuck out." Okay, Bosch said. "Let's just get going and we'll worry about all that stuff later. Don't get lost." Bosch took Hollywood Boulevard to the 101.